Good evening, everyone, and welcome to This Week for Sunday Night Soul Time. It is March 10th, and I hope that everyone had a wonderful week last week, that you're able to stay centered and grounded, and that you're excited for a beautiful week ahead. It has been a real time of transformation and shifts. I've noticed for a lot of different people, and so perhaps that resonates with you. And what I would just say to you is whenever things are changing and shifting in your environment, the easiest thing to do is to just not resist and to just allow yourself as best you can to just go with the flow. Go with the flow. It's so much easier said than done, but acceptance of your current environment and current reality is truly the path forward. And it's how it allows the least amount of disruption, kind of resistance, internal strife and struggle into your life. And so before we get into tonight's topic, I just really wanted to share that because I know it's been a common theme for so many different people. So there's definitely something in the air going on with that. Wonderful. So tonight we are going to continue our conversation about owning and claiming your authentic power. And we're going to do that with a discussion about boundaries. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about boundaries first, continuing a bit on our conversation about anchoring the love, noticing the fear in your life and the role that that energy plays in how you make decisions, how you make choices. And this one tonight is all about you. It's about what I like to say, always making sure your air mask is on first, because without your air mask on first, without you taking care of your vehicle, without you respecting you in the highest possible way, which is what boundaries are about, it'll be really difficult for you to be of service, to show up, to be present for your family, your work, your friends, for just about anything in life. So boundaries are a way that we help and own and protect our authentic power, our truth, how we hold and protect the energy that is sacred to us. When we don't have boundaries, we're essentially giving away our power. We're giving away our energy, and we become incredibly depleted. We become very anxious. We have depression. We might have other different health-related issues. We might just feel completely not present and that we're just going a mile a minute. It shows up in many different ways. And so really understanding the value of setting boundaries, the importance it has in your life is really, really important. So let me talk to you a little bit about that, and then we'll do a meditation where we're going to go in and we're going to actually look at ways that you can set healthier boundaries, and we're going to clear out any unhealthy boundaries that you currently haven't set in your life through a very powerful healing meditation. So the thing about boundaries is I want to kind of dismantle a couple things. They're not selfish. Setting boundaries is not being selfish. It is not something that you do that you should feel bad about. They are absolutely necessary to your own well-being. There are many different types of boundaries. I'm going to talk about them as a whole for the purpose of tonight, but there are emotional boundaries, physical boundaries. There's all different ways that you protect yourself and make sure that you are doing what's best for you. And back the analogy of putting on your air mask first. As women, we are so used to putting other people's needs first ahead of our own. We kind of like inherited that almost from our ancestral lineage, from the DNA, I almost say, like we kind of had ingrained in us, we're caretakers, and caretaking means you put other people's needs ahead of your own. That can be a very intrinsic trait that many of us have, but that's not the healthy way. That's not the way that you can actually care for people and take care for people, even when it comes to your own kids, even when it comes to being a mother, which I know is one of the ways that we mostly let ourselves be a bit depleted. Now, that's not to say that, your kids' needs don't come first in many ways, but having healthy boundaries in your life that appreciate your mental, physical, and emotional well-being will help you be able to do things like take care of your kids better, like be a better boss, be a more powerful partner in your relationship. So the thing about boundaries is that they're unique. So everyone has a different set of boundaries that work for them. So your first step when either looking at the current boundaries you have in your life or just understanding and thinking about setting boundaries, if this is a topic that's new for you, is to know and understand your limits. What are those within your personal relationships? What are those as being a mother if you're a mother? What are those if with your partner? And then what are those with work? Some examples might be, when I'm having dinner with someone, I don't want to see them on their phone. That's a boundary I have because it makes me feel unappreciated, whatever that might be. Or it might be, on Sundays, I don't use technology. Or it might be, and this is completely fine, is I'm sorry, when I leave work, work is done. Now, I know that's a hard one for a lot of you. And I know that might not be one that you agree with for a lot of you. But if that is a boundary and that is a limit you need, it is okay to set that. So it might be, I have to work out every day or I'm just not me. So again, it's understanding and being okay with and having zero guilt with understanding and knowing the limits that you need for your ideal emotional, physical, mental health, and well-being. And for that to be okay, for you to own that and start to set those limits. And when people, situations, or even job situations don't respect those, you can maybe look at, well, then maybe this isn't the healthiest situation for me to be in. I'm simplifying. I understand it gets more complicated than this, and it is something we'll continue to discuss. But for now, at the highest level, I really want you to start thinking about it in this measure, because as women, we have a tendency to give it all away without second thought about our limits, what's best for us, what boundaries are vital for our success, our health, our physical well-being. So the first step in this for you is just to get clear on what those are. You don't have to do anything about it yet, but to be very honest with yourself and clear about yourself, and start from there the process of understanding and accepting that whatever those boundaries are, it is okay. It is okay. Right? A boundary might be that, people that are in my life that don't make me feel good about myself, I don't have a place for them anymore. A boundary might be I have to meditate at least twice a week, and I need to find a way to make time for that. A boundary might be that emotionally toxic people in the work environment have no place in my life. Wow. If you're working in a really toxic environment, you might have to look at and think about how you might want to change that. So again, there's no right or wrong here. I'm just giving you examples to get you thinking, but really start to think about what are my limits? What is ideal for me? Because know that the universe supports you in taking care of and honoring yourself. It is a lie. It is a false illusion that the universe wants you in a constant state of depletion, struggle, misery, feeling stressed, anxious. That is not the truth. That is an illusion. That might be one that you've subscribed to, but it is not the ultimate truth for you. So when you want to shift and change your life, first get clear when it comes to boundaries and having healthy boundaries that protect your authentic power. Get clear on what your limits are. The next thing you do, and again, I understand this will take work for depending on where you're at individually with this. For some people, it's really hard to set boundaries. For others, it'll be like, I'm clear, I have no problem setting it. Wherever you are, it's okay. But the second thing is to give yourself permission to set them. It is okay. If you need a break from your kids one night a week because that's what you need, or one Saturday a week, or whatever it is, give yourself permission to set them. I promise you, And you might realize, well, that's not possible. Right away, the mind, the ego will come in and give you 1,000 reasons about how that could never work, how that could never work out. I tell you, when you start honoring yourself and giving yourself permission to set healthy boundaries, putting on your air mask first, and you just put the intention out there, this is a boundary I have that is ideal for my health and well-being. I'm going to intentionally set it right now. It might not actually start happening for a couple months, maybe a year. I hope not. But I'm putting that intention out there, and the universe will jump in and support me making that boundary a reality. Okay? So we're not even talking about the doing part yet here. We're talking about you getting clear on your boundaries and then giving yourself permission to set these limits. And that might just first come out as intentions. I intend for this to happen. Some might be very immediate, and I hopefully and ideally should. I am no longer letting this toxic boss make me feel bad. I'm actually going to communicate and tell them how it makes me feel, or I'm going to assert my power in some way. I'm going to have a conversation with HR. Whatever it is, each boundary or each new boundary you set might have a different pathway and time frame. But it's very healing work to, again, identify them and, again, give your permission to set them and begin setting them as you can in your own timing, in your own way. But know that anything that you're intuitively being guided to set for yourself, anything, is there for a reason. It is for your greatest health and well-being, and that is truly what is wanted for you. I promise you. And then third is, and this is more into it, like once you have the boundaries set, or even as you're trying to understand what boundaries potentially need to be set, is to be very conscious and aware of your feelings. So feelings are the biggest indicator of either boundaries that need to be set or boundaries that need to be reinforced, like boundaries that are being crossed over. And there are 3 feelings. It's when you're feeling uncomfortable, or you're feeling some kind of discomfort, when you're feeling resentment or guilt. So when you're feeling uncomfortable or discomfort, a lot of times this can be like physical boundary space even is a real easy way to understand that. But that is a clue that there's either a boundary you need to set or a boundary that you have set is being violated and needs to be reinstated. When you feel a resentment about something, that is always a clue that you either have a new boundary you need to set. Maybe it's the way someone's talking to you or treating you that you're just not going to allow in your life, Or maybe you're so depleted and tired that you're like, I need to set a boundary of self-care one day a week. I understand that maybe in my current dynamic that seems really outrageous, but I know what it's need. And I know that when I communicate what I need and I put it out there, the universe will conspire to support me in that because I need it so much. And the universe wants me to be healthy, well, and thriving. So anytime you're feeling a resentment about anything, it's a clue that you have a new boundary that needs to be set or something that you've set is being violated. And then the third, and this is the most powerful one often, is guilt. Let me tell you, guilt is a negative fear-based emotion that serves to keep you entrapped, imprisoned in an unhealthy dynamic in some way. It is like the ultimate chokehold. It's the ultimate chain that keeps you in a cycle of repeat that is not healthy for you. And it's the hardest one to overcome. And I often say you have to just be willing to feel guilty. You have to be willing to feel guilty to set a new pattern, a new healthy behavior that is going to serve you. Mom guilt is really huge with this. Really huge with this. A lot of my clients really struggle with this. And in these moments, you have to tune in and go, am I having my air mask on first? Or is this real guilt? Is this real guilt? Is this something to actually be considered about? Or is it like 95% of guilt, which serves to keep you entrapped in an unhealthy cycle of behavior for you? When it's the latter and you sit and you tune in and you're honest with yourself and you're like, my air mask isn't on right now. I don't have my air mask on first. Know that you're not being good of service to anyone if that air mask is not on first. So in those moments, if that's the truth, the air mask isn't on, you can feel okay about that boundary you've set. You don't have to be guilty. But I tell you, it takes a while to shift the control guilt has over you. It takes a while to shift and to feel differently. So you will have to be willing to feel guilty. You'll have to go to the spa or go to that yoga class or whatever it is and feel guilty anyway. But over time, when you see how much it shifts negative dynamics and patterns that are likely existing in your life because you're buying into the guilt, you're giving into the guilt, and you're staying in a cycle that's toxic for you, when you see that that shifts because you're putting your needs first, you're putting your air mask on first, not in an overly selfish way. I'm talking about basic self-care, self-love, and light. You'll see how much better everything becomes. But it does take practice. You have to be willing to sit with the guilt. So that's boundaries at a very high level. I know this is such a valuable and important conversation for so many women, so it's one that we will continue. If you have any specific questions about it, honestly, don't even hesitate. Reach out to me. I'm happy to help you in any way I can. But now what we're going to do is we are going to do a very healing meditation to heal some boundaries, that aren't working or, lack thereof, and to really set some new ones. So if you're not in a comfortable place, find that now. You can pause the video. Wonderful. Okay. And as always, just make sure you're sitting in a comfortable position. Don't lay down, but sit in a comfortable position. And I'm going to take a quick sip of water here. Wonderful. And do this with me now. Center in and just close your eyes. And let's do some nice, deep cleansing breaths together. So breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Wonderful. And I want you to just imagine that there's a beautiful ball of golden light energy above your head. And I want you to just invite this light in and start to feel it just shower you like a rainfall of light, a whole like waterfall, beautiful rain pouring down on you. And this light is going to cleanse you on the outside and on the inside. And it will just start entering in the top of your head, which is where your crown chakra is. And it's just going to start pouring down, and just cleansing and removing any negativity, any fear, anything that's not in service of your highest good and highest light, going down your throat, down your arms, coating your entire chest, your stomach, your spine, going down in your pelvis, down your hips, down your legs, and out the bottom of your feet. And it's going to go down, down, down where it meets a beautiful light in the center of the earth. And just feel your oneness with this light. Feel their absolute love and light and the way that this light can heal you as well. And just invite this light back up and invite it to heal and remove all stuck emotions, all stuck thought patterns that are just not in service of you and not in alignment with having healthy boundaries. So the light comes back up through the bottom of your feet, and it just comes up through your calves, your legs, up through your pelvis, really sitting in that womb center. That's really an area where we give away a lot of power energetically, because it's all about self-love in this area of your body. So just coating and cleansing and pulling away anything not in alignment with setting healthy boundaries. Coming up, 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 up through your neck, and then really cleansing your whole mind, removing any belief systems that are not in alignment with having healthy boundaries. And then let the light now just kind of come out through the center of your heart and just circle around you 360 degrees and start to surround you like a beautiful ball, kind of orb of light. And we're just going to expand it. And when you get to this place of expansion, what happens is you're allowed to really self-heal yourself through your imagination and participation in this. So just give the light permission to cover the entire room you're in, the entire home or building you're in, the entire city you're in, the entire state you're in, the entire country, and then push out this light to cover the entire globe. And in this place, know that you're completely connected, ready for healing. So what we're going to do first is a cleansing where we're going to remove any stuck energies to anything that's blocking you from having unhealthy boundaries. So as we do this, just observe anything that comes up and just focus on allowance. Focus on allowing yourself to heal anything that's not in alignment with having healthy boundaries. Okay, and so we're going to first, I'm going to ask, and you're going to see what comes up. What is the number one thing in your life, person, place, situation, or life experience you've had that is currently blocking you from setting healthy boundaries? Allow this to come up, and you might perceive it as an experience you had as a child, or it might just feel like a heavy, dense energy with a color. Whatever you observe, it's okay. Allow, and then feel a cord of attachment that you have to this block. And then if you choose, in your own self-healing process, we're going to cut this cord together. And what you can imagine now as we breathe in is that this cord is just severed and released, and that this block no longer has any meaning for you. And so we'll do that together on the count of 3 and on a deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in and release. And the cord is cut, and that block no longer has any power over you. And all the roots, remnants of this cord are just pulled out, swirled, and sent into the light that's all around you. And then we'll ask, what is the next block that is most blocking you from living a life anchored with healthy, self-loving boundaries? And again, you'll feel this come forward. You might even feel this somewhere in your body. You might even feel that it's a cord attached that's like behind you. Just tune into what you feel. And again, if a situation, a person pops in your mind, just know that that's something that's ready to be healed within you. And again, on a count of 3, we'll cut that cord. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in and release. And that cord is cut. And we'll do one more. What is the third experience in life, energy block? It might be a belief system. Might be something, a false belief system you have that needs to be severed in order for you to have healthy boundaries. And again, we bring that forward, tune in, and on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, breathe in and release. And that cord is cut, and any remnants of the cords are just pulled out, and you're going to start to feel like this energy that's around you just swirling around in a counterclockwise fashion, removing any remnants of these energy blocks, these cords of attachment that you've had that are not for your highest good and highest light, and just be willing to release it. Be willing to release it. And now I want you to tune in, and I want you to bring in front of you the highest divine aspect of yourself, your true self. Call her forward and just see her right in front of you. See what she looks like. This is you in your highest state, the highest divine truth and essence of who you are. And we're going to ask this highest, best, most loving version of you, what is one thing I can do right now to set healthy boundaries that are in my highest good and light? And just quiet your mind and receive this information. Quiet your mind and receive. It might be a specific example. It might just be a word or an image. Receive this, and if any ideas or thoughts pop in your head, know this is a clue for you. Good. Release that. We'll ask one more suggestion. And what is one more thing? What is something specific I can do tomorrow, this week, to help me set better boundaries that honor my authentic power and truth? Receive, receive, receive this information. And again, it might just be a thought that pops in your mind, whatever it is a clue for you and only you. Now just sit with this information and repeat these affirmations in your mind. I affirm that it is not selfish to have healthy boundaries. It is good to have boundaries that honor my highest light, highest truth, and love. I cannot help or be of service to anyone if I don't have healthy boundaries. I claim my authentic power by claiming boundaries in my life that respect and honor who I am. I am not ashamed or have guilt over having boundaries. I honor my boundaries. I honor my boundaries. Wonderful. And now let's just do a few quick, deep grounding breaths to anchor all this healing in and this new information in. Breathe in through your nose and release. One more. Breathe in through your nose and release. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and join me. Well, I just want you to know I'm so proud of you for doing that work. I know it's not easy. We'll continue this conversation. In the meantime, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ping me on this one. I know this one can feel tricky. Your mind can play a lot of tricks on you of like what is a boundary that's good or bad, or it can get very confusing because of the legacy that we bring into setting boundaries as women. So I'm happy to support you if you need it. Otherwise, I hope you have a beautiful week. Embrace all the transformation that's happening for you. Just embrace the now. Embrace that you're doing everything right for you in this moment. And that just by even participating and being on these calls, like you are putting in time for your own self-love and care. And that is something I deeply honor within you. And so I wish you just so much love and light this week. So much love and light. Bye-bye for now.